Good morning, everybody. First, take a deep breath. Just relax yourself physically, mentally. And then just be here. And then just appreciate the time we got here. No? Oh, okay. I thought, who's that? Actually, I didn't know. I saw a new person coming in. Thank you. I think it's okay right now. Yeah, just leave here. Yeah. And then we will say some prayers, which is called opening prayer. During this time, just when we chant, look at the meaning of those prayers, and then say that these prayers bringing the meaning into our heart. It's called contemplative way, saying the prayers with meditation. And then all that's we have kind of in the mind whatever have purified by the meaning of this, and expand the mind like the space everywhere, and relax and just rejoice, feel happy. And this is the way how to heal ourselves. This is why we're here, just to heal our mind, to heal the mind of the neurosis, which are the direct cause of our confusion, suffering. Okay, so we say this all prayers in English. So we don't worry about the Tibetan chanting, just we'll say in English. Page 1. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and suitably establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and suitably establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from the suffering, and suitably established in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Next. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. We take refuge in the kind, root-in lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities, the mandalas, the yedamas. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Buddha. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma-guided, possessor of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind, root-in lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities, the mandalas, the yedamas. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the noble darkness and Dharma guidance, possessors of high wisdom. We take refuge in the kind-rooted lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities, the mandalas, the yidam. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Lama. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble darkness and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharmas, and likewise in the assemblies of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas cultivated enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in Dharma, likewise in assemblies of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas cultivated the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in Dharma, and likewise in assemblies of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas cultivated the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings boundless the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from the suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that's free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings boundless the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that's free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings boundless the sky have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that's free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. We will also say the seven-lamp prayer. I bow down respectfully with the body's speech in grateful mind to all Tathagatas in the 10 directions, those who have already reached the Tathagata state, and those who are reaching it yet, and those Tathagatas still to come. Through the power of Samantabhadra's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I prostrate to them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by the countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through the manifestation chanting, expressing the great ocean of their excellent qualities. To all Buddhas I make offerings of various pure flowers, flower garland, music, anointing oil, magnificent light, and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of refined garment, perfume, and potpourri, while hyacinth now here, and tremble in the most beautiful way. I visualized highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all the Buddhas. I prostrate to Buddhas, make offering to them, follow the feet of the great Sattva Samantapatra. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have done due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas in the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and particular Buddha, and those who have attained arhatship, and those who have entered the path to arhatship, and all other beings. I request all the great Buddhas to chant the highest wheel of Dharma, to rightly dispel the darkness of the beings in the 10 directions, and to lead them gradually to the enlightened state. I request those Buddhas intend to take nirvana to live long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth, in order to benefit all sentient beings. Whatever merit I have gathered, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Unequal refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajradhara, without doubt. I vow at the feet of Father Jigten Sungkwan. Continually I think of no other but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surround my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborated nature of the mind. Now we have the short mandala offering. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and sun and the moon. As a Buddha fell, I offered it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddhahood. To the Lama who possesses the 3 kayas, I offer the outer inner secret offering with my body, wealth, and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization of enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Please know Dawa Dagini Rana Mandala Patiza Swaha. Please turn the whole of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combinations according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacity of all beings. Hangi tunjun dama jong gaba meba je meba sheba meba da meba wo meba do meba do 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 me do jo me do ba ni ji jin da ba so ba so ja ma na da ba da la ko ja ze ni de sho zo no ko ji ni ni du za ka ya da do la pa ba cha na la ji ni ji de do do da ba ka da ya da de na ba ko da na so da so ni de ja jo ze be zo je san ji ji ni yong de la ko ja Kanda jojo donga jeda na de jalo mara jurba kan so da de da be jojo jara be ma so da mara dam jen de je to so sim je dam jalo cho son ro wa jin je lam to so cho lam don ro wa jin je lam to so lam to ba sa wa jin je lam to so to ba ye shu so cha wa jin je la to so So from today, now as you know, as you saw the program for 2 months, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we are going through study, practice, side by side, No? In the morning, I will go through the jewel ornament of liberation. And in the afternoon, Kemurumbashi will go through the Mayana Sutra Alankara by Maitreya. And then after that, we'll follow with the Kemo, discussions, meditations, so forth. This will last about over 10 years. I was not so well, so that's why I couldn't be around too much. Occasionally, a little bit, like a week, couple weeks, that much. So couldn't do so much. So this time, even though there's a lot of room to improve my health, but I feel a little better. So that's why I thought this time there are some good people who are really interested to study, practice Dharma. So to provide that these 2 months, I thought we should do this as a training. And I myself feel so fortunate to do this, like Jewel Ornament of Liberation, for example. It's written not just by some intellectual individuals, but written by enlightened master, the Kampupa, Chandra Pravava Kumara was a great bodhisattva at the time of Buddha. He was born in a rich family in Rajgir area, and he raised, as a special person to study all the knowledge, especially receiving teachings from Buddha. And he requested Buddha to turn the wheel of the king of the meditative sutra. It's called Samadhi Raja Sutra. And Buddha, because of his request, Buddha accepted his request and then turned the wheel of that teaching for many days. It's one of the very important sutra teaching that Buddha taught, especially relation with the Mahamudra, all this. So that's not only that time, even before, many eons before, he was enlightened in the name of Buddha, called Beme Lama, the Padma Guru, the Tathagata Padma Guru. He enlightened in that name of Buddha and turned the wheel of Dharma to all sentient beings. Even before that, he was as a great bodhisattva, Mendo Danze. So there's a long history, the Kampupa. When he was in Tibet, 11th century, he recalled to his great disciples, at the time of Buddha, I was born as bodhisattva of the Chandra Pravava Kumara, and I requested the teachings. And I promised to promote these teachings to the sentient beings in the degeneration time. Said, this is a time I'm here, and you also promised to support me. Now, this is the time we have to benefit all sentient beings. So have that kind of account. So this text is written from the enlightened state. This is written in that way because we now say just in Tibetan collection, Buddha's teaching, there are over 100 volumes. And we have no ability, first of all, to read all of this. And particularly to understand all those things would be very difficult for us. So he, as enlightened beings, for us put together all the Sutra teachings, special Mahayana system, which is called Buddhism, Buddha taught, for the sake of all sentient beings to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. Because of that, after he's written this text, he said, in the future, who desire or who wish to see me, say, read my writing, the jewel ornament of liberation, and the supreme, the garland of the Dharma that he wrote. So, because of this, and I feel fortunate to go through this text, to share those interested, because as now Buddhism is coming in the West due to the power of the transportation, communication, all this. Buddhism is going everywhere, all over the world. So what we need is a good teacher, a decent teacher who can help, not self-oriented, self-interest, rather sincerely want to help to others. It's very obvious, clear. I don't have to say that. Because everyone desires to free from suffering. Everyone is desire to have peace and happiness. But look at the teachings, what Buddha taught. Buddha taught not just as a Buddhism, Buddha taught as the reality nature of the samsara, nirvana. As you know, the reality nature of the mind. From the core emergent of the people or sentient beings' mind. Simply, they want to have peace and happiness. Simply, they want to free from suffering. Even animals, insects, there's no disagreement on this. There's no argument on this. No. So, Buddha taught according to that reality, nature. And that reality nature depends on the causes and conditions. All our life is in the framework of the causality. Whatever we do, we experience that, good or bad. Whether you believe or don't believe, doesn't matter. As long as the cause is created, the result is manifested. So look at this. So this is very important that we to understand this, to practice ourselves and to share others. We're not promoting as a Buddhism, but we are trying to make a space, a condition that everyone has there is a benefit. So Buddha taught Buddhism, as I usually say, not for only Buddhists, but for every sentient beings. That's why we said the prayer, all mother sentient beings. We're not saying all Buddhists be happy. No. It's very inclusive. Look at this. That's all rely on the mind. As you know, the mind is very sophisticated, ambiguous, abstract subject, yet it's very complex. It can only penetrate to the meditation. You get some idea vague how the mind is complex. In our own mind, look at our own mind. I want peace and happiness, but when the affliction starts, doesn't allow me to follow that. I want to be happy, but when when we're screwed up, then we create our own suffering. So these teachings gives us all those opportunities. So those who are here today, and I rejoice so much. You have dedicated your time, sacrificed your time, dedicated your life in the Dharma to study, practice. And I feel very fortunate that you are also very fortunate. So we take the full advantage on this, how to become a better human being, how to have more peace and happiness. And our center here, we have also here very good people who volunteers. And this I say in the past, best place to service for the people who are interested, because this is place is designated for the public, not to individuals. No. A lot of people put a lot of effort, donations to build this. And now this is we dedicated to all the people who come here. Everyone who all the participants. So we also just say those who have done their service, those who are doing now, those who are coming in the future, we all rejoice we could do this something to help other sentient beings through these precious Dharma teachings. Even though now the modern technology is very highly developed, very sophisticated, complex. As you know, there are so many, like internet, relation with the internet. There's a Facebook, there's a Twitter, there's a YouTube, and then there's Skype. Sometimes there's a Skype, sometimes there's Skype, or whatever that is. And so you can spend a whole hour in that, whole day in that. So much information is there. But at the end of the day, you look back, what's the benefit, how much benefit you got from this? Our mind is so scattered. It's called capricious mind. Is that right?
It's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one. Very fickle and a capricious mind then cannot settle, rest, restless. So you see a lot of people, there's a lot of advantage, good things, many good things in the information. There's also negative things, they are both. So we need a skill how to bring our mind in the right place. That I think the Dharma can give you all those opportunity. Since mind is so complex, as you know, you heard of roughly, so there are 84,000 types of mental afflictions. It's just roughly. To comprehend this problem, difficulties, but I taught 84,000 types of the Dharma teachings. So to purify the mind, practically, so that we can have peace and happiness, so that we can free from suffering. So these teachings are designed for that. So we should feel so happy, fortunate, and dedicate fully. Whatever your time spent in the past, you rejoice. I did this. Now I will do more, better. And this book, as you see, so well organized. One important thing is, because if you read sutras, you don't get complete. But here, there's 6 topics designed. The Buddha nature, the basis, and to reveal that precious human life, And to get the instructions, spiritual master, and the instructions, all the instructions, Dharma teachings, and the result. And after you get the Buddhahood result, how you benefit sentient beings. So in these 6 major topics. So look at, amazing, you see this book. It's not exist before that, these things. This scattered, all Buddha Sutras said they exist. But Gampopa, as mentioned, he put together so that we ordinary can follow the path so precisely. So look at this book, read this, get the idea, understanding, and put into practice. And we get the complete. That's why I choose this. Even though I talked this before, way back in the 90s here, from there started this translation. So it took 8 years to finish the translation. But end of this 8 years, then I was so exhausted. I still remember that exhaustion. So now I cannot go through again. we need to publish it, So now during this 8 weeks, 3 days a week, we'll go through this in the morning. There's 21. Here's in 21 chapter. So we go step by step, explanations, discussions, and so please try to get complete information. So I won't say too much. We go through the I read, and then and go to some explanations. And as always, when we study, practice these teachings, always reinforce our bodhicitta. Since this is a Mahayana teaching, I study this, I practice this to develop my bodhicitta. This is such important practice for your own to develop courage, wisdom, strength. So here, see page 43, the name of the text is called The Jewel Ornament of Liberation, the wish fulfilling gem of the noble teachings by Gampopa. He has many different names. When he was born, his name was Dharmachap. Then when he became monk, his name was called Sonam Rinchen. And then when he met Milarepa, his name was called Ubatamba, the teacher from Central Tibet. And also Milarepa gave him one special name, the Bhikkhu, holding the Vajra, who is renowned in the world, Zamling Takpa, Kelong Torjin Zempan Zamling Takpa, because his Vinaya, that he received the Vinaya, the Bhikkhu, the full ordination vow, he kept so purely. At that time, everybody admired his pure conduct, moral conduct. And Milarepa also highly praised that, said the Bhikkhu, the Vinaya, who holds the Vinaya, the Bhikkhu who is the holder of the Vajra, the Tantra practitioner, renowned in the world. As Milarepa did that, his lineage becomes so famous everywhere from 11th century until now. One of the most important lineage that happened. Hundreds of thousands of practitioners all over the world. And then when he came to where he established monastery, Dagla Kambu. So Kambu is the name of the mountain of that area. Who resides that area, Pa, Kambu Pa. So his name called Kambu Pa, so popular. And also when he was young, he studied medicine. He became so expert in the medicine. He was called Takbul Haji, the physician from the Takbo. So here's those Lord of those names here. Okay. Then what he writes here, there's when you go through the text, there's a beginning, paying homage, and promise to write, and actual, the text, and the conclusion. So 3 categories. So first here, Kambupa is paying homage. So I fostered to noble Manjushri in youthful form. That's the wisdom, deity, Bodhisattva. All are discriminating awareness, knowing right from the wrong by the power of that wisdom. So Manjushri represents that wisdom. Appreciate, rejoice that. And then I pay homage to the victorious ones, means all the Buddhas, past, present, future. The Buddha, victorious one, means who got the victory from the afflictive emotions, from the enemy of this, the enemy of the peace, happiness. If you look at what's the enemy of the peace and happiness, it's our mental afflictions. Ignorance, greed, jealousy, pride, anger, attachment, so forth. Look at this. Look at in our own mind. When they occupied our mind, we have no peace, no happiness. See, when they are released, when there's no space in our mind, there's a peace, happiness. So all the Buddhas of the 3 times, they are called victorious one. They got the victory over these enemies. Victorious ones. They are followers, great Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Partik Buddha, so forth. They follow the footsteps of the Buddha, the Sanghas, and the holy Dharma. That's what the Buddha taught. That's what we study, practice. It's holy Dharma. Dharma means which holds, there's many different meaning. One is which holds the characteristics. Each individual in Dharma, it has its own characters. It has its own character. But here Dharma means which holds our mind from the delusion, gives us wisdom, lead from confusion to the enlightenment. This was called the holy Dharma. So these 3, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, pay homage. Then, and to the lamas who are their foundations, the teachers. Here lama means the great teachers. The teachers are the source of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. That's called foundation. Their foundation. One time, as you know, when Marpa was with the Naropa, so Marpa could see Naropa every day. Naropa was his principal teacher. And one day, Naropa, through his display, manifested Hidam Chakasamvara in front of the sky. So then Naropa asked Marpa, do you see this Chakasamvara, your Hidam? I think it's the Chakasamvara or Vajra. And Marpa said, yes, I see this. So then Marpa said, now today, to whom you want to do prostration? Today, Hidam, what do you see? or to me as your teacher. And in the Marva thought, I see my Lama every day, but I don't see Yidam every day. So today I do prostration to Yidam. And then Marva, as a Naruba, the Yidam dissolved into his heart. Said, if there's no teacher, there's no Buddha. All the Buddhas of the past, they came from the teacher, the Guru. No? So that's what is, that's why I say they are foundation. So the foundation, the Lama, their foundation. See? And of course, the qualities of the teachers will describe at the third chapter, the spiritual master. They are what kind of spiritual master is what you can designate, call. So that's how Gambupa pay homage, made frustration. Then this noble teaching, which is like wish-fulfilling jewel, see, general Lama teaching, especially in this text, which is content, wish-granting jewel. It's more than wish-granting jewel. Means if you study this thoroughly and apply and put into practice, implement, all the cause of suffering can eliminate it, purify it. All the cause of peace and happiness can bring in. Through that, we get all the peace and happiness. That's what's called wish-granting jewel. Isn't it? When you find something precious item, what do you say? Oh, I'm so happy I found this. Why you so happy? Because you have some idea this will give you a lot of benefit. Otherwise, why you so much make so important? No? So this book is more than wish-granting jewel. The wish-granting jewel is in your hand. So we recognize this. Not just intellectualized, said this, without implementing. So Dharma is always need to be implemented. And we have this method here to implement. And then you will get a maximum benefit. So that's why usually I say when I give talk, I'm not talking what to believe or how to believe things. I'm just talking how to solve the problems. What's the cause of suffering? And how to get out of the suffering, the confusion. No. And it also is one very important thing that I want to say here. The cause, what we have created, and the result is coming, we don't have much choice. Because the cause is already created, planted. This cause is there. Even great masters cannot do so much when the cause is there. But we have choice is what kind of cause we create, that we have a maximum choice. We have a maximum freedom. What kind of cause we create. That's the Buddhism, you see, the wisdom we need. We have to have that kind of mind. Like for example, like previous life, next life, say Buddhist belief, rebirth. It's not just Buddhist belief, it's reality. It's just a matter of knowing or not knowing. The causality as well. It's not or not knowing, but it's reality. Our life is function within the causality. Cause. That's why we need to study it, practice it, see it. You have to experience ourselves. Oh, yes, this is happening because of that. No? What do we do? That will come the result. So we are in the cycle of the causality, in the dimension of the causality. Samsara is the dimension of the causality that is based on the confusion. Nirvana is in the dimension of the causality, which is based on the free from the confusion. No, we know which will come, of course, no. Impermanence, Impermanence changes. Every minute is changing. Every second is changing. It changes according to the cause. The cause what we have created, according to the cause we're changing. So these are just some thoughts I'm just throwing, So you see, you have to understand, investigate. If you disagree, then it's wonderful. Then we can discuss. Yeah, you said these things. I disagree, and I'll be very happy to discuss. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Then I will correct myself. So that's wish-granting jewel that Dharma teaches is about that. You see, why Dharma is wish-granting jewel, a wish-fulfilling jewel. So that, now will be written, this kind of wish-granting jewel, Dharma teachings, Kambapa saying he's putting together, will be written for the benefit of myself and others. Now he's saying, not by just his own invention, he's saying by depending on the kindness of Miller and Lord Atisha. Milarepa is, as you know, well-known, enlightened master. Nobody disagreed about that. Milarepa, he's the, what should I say, one of the principal figure in the Buddhist field. And inspiration is inspirational. As soon as when you heard Milarepa's name and read his life story and his Vajra songs, there's no one in the world there's no one who says, I disagree, Milarepa. Everyone inspires. To see what a human being can do, what a human being can achieve. Everyone, so when they talk Dharma teachings, they come, Milarepa said this, Milarepa did this. So Kambapa received the complete teachings from Milarepa. And Atisha brought the lineage from Nagarjuna and from Asanga, those two streams. So Kambapa combined all those teachings, put together, became the embodiment of the complete Buddha's teaching. He himself established that. Then that teaching passed down. So as I say, Kambapa is writing this teaching not through his own invention, rather based on the lineage from Buddha, completely. No? So look at this, how authentic this teaching is. And this is also, the foundation for all the different Lamrim teachings that came after Kampopa. Because Kampopa wrote this, then all the great scholars, they got a good idea to write. So this is the original Lamrim teaching they wrote in Tibet. So look at this, appreciate, rejoice. Then now, this introduction and the details. First here, in general, all phenomena, all phenomena are included in the two categories of samsara and nirvana. So within these two, samsara and nirvana, everything is concluded. Nothing exists beyond these two. So this phenomena is also called dharma. So as mentioned, dharma has a lot of different meanings. All phenomena is called dharma. Then precious dharma teachings that we take refuge in. So now that which is called samsara, so we call samsara. Samsara means, of course now it's become a English terminology, samsara. The cycle of the confusion. Cycling exists, samsara. In Tibet it's called korwa. Korwa means, going round and around and around and around. Even as you can fly from here to Mount Kailash and go farther, Siberia, farther, and again you come back. There's not too far to go. In other words, the real meaning is we cycled all the causalities within the framework of confusion. That's what's called samsara. So samsara, that which is called samsara, is empty by nature. Its reality nature is empty. Now, as you know now, you have very good understanding of emptiness, what it means. It's not just negating. Negation. You just negate, say it's empty. No, it's not that. There's no solid, independent entity. Something is functioning because of the other support. This is called theoretically. Theoretically, if you analyze, investigate, nothing functions by its own without the other support. So through that, if you analyze, investigate, you cannot find one independent entity. So that's what's called emptiness. But that very what we see is functions. So it functions within in the emptiness. But due to our confusion, without realizing that, we see as a phenomenon, an object which is solid. So we are grasping on that. We are fixated on that. That's called confusion. That's what's called. There is empty by nature. Confused projections. So they were confused to that projection, not realizing the nature is empty. We see it as a solid, concrete. No. Like see, if you see a reflection, the moon in the lake, before you know,